Okay, so we come to Brett turn 3, and so I realize here, especially that other big block on him, I'm starting to get in trouble. So I use my fast cav to block his inner circle knights, and this unit of Knights of the Realm that's my combat res unit. So I've got outnumber, 2 ranks, 2 banners, one's a war banner. The BSB has the virtue of +1 combat res. So I make it so his knights can't charge me. The best he can do is charge with his war altar and his warrior priest coming out of that unit of inner circle knights. And I think if I get lucky with my saves, I have enough combat res to break him. And I just have to, during the magic phase, just have to make sure he doesn't get off the unbreakable spell. But then even if we stand in the next turn of combat, I still should have combat res, and I can make sure during my magic phase to dispel that unbreakable, because I think it remains in play. Anyway, that's what I was thinking there. I can't sit there forever. I think now I can use my fast cav to take care of those knights, and I'm going to use my fast cav to make sure the inner circle knights can't get the charge on me, and now I'm going to get into the action. One thing I realized here, and I never really thought about it before, was having only 3 wide in the lance formation allows me to get charges off even though my opponent can't charge me. So for instance, on this next turn, I could charge his knights even though they can't charge me. And that's something I never really had thought much about before, and it was a nice epiphany a little bit late in this game that might have allowed me to be more aggressive on my turn 2, but again, I was on turn 2, my fast cav were fleeing and I couldn't be sure they were going to rally. So anyway, so I just take my men-at-arms are kind of out of the action, so I'm just taking them towards the cannon. If nothing else, I'm hoping his cannon starts shooting at them instead of my knights, even though he hasn't done much with them. So on this side of the board, on my turn, I was able to finally break his unit of knights with the warrior priest over here, and chased him down. I missed the Hellblaster volley gun, and I'm actually just sitting right in front of that house with 10 handgunners and the level 2 sorcerer, and it's going to be awkward to try to get out of there, so that's kind of a hassle. So on his turn, he does what really I thought he would. He took his war altar and his warrior priest and charged my unit. And again, I'm hoping here just to make some lucky saves and then beat him through combat res. And other than that, he backed his knights up. I'm not sure what he was doing unless he was worried that I would win that combat and then charge his knights. And that would make sense. So it's turn 4. His level 2 sorcerer has got off Spirit of the Forge every single turn this game so far. So the first 2 turns I had scrolls for it. The third turn he beat up on the unit of Knights Errant that eventually caused them to panic off the board. And this time he devastates this unit. So my lack of magic defense is really, really hurting me. So in this, I got very lucky. He rolled a 6 for his impact hits, and between having to wound me and me having armor saves and then ward saves, only 1 wound went through. And then his Arc Lector wasn't able to wound me. His Warrior Priest got 1 wound on my BSB, and I still had combat res enough to break him. So I broke the Warrior Priest, and that's when I learned that the War Altar is unbreakable. And I'd never thought of that before. So, oh, that was devastating, because now if he's unbreakable, I can't wound him. I mean, not with strength 3 humans on there. So I am in a world of trouble in that situation. And I position my general such that he can't see the War Altar. He can barely see that Warrior Priest. So I can't bring my general in to help out either. So that was unfortunate. So Brett turn 4, I did charge his Warrior Priest who was fleeing already. He had to flee again. He escaped me. At the top of the screen you can see I took my Grail Knight and charged his Hellblaster. I took my much diminished unit of Knights Errant and kind of did a little tactical wheeling to try to get out of that gap between the house and the volley gun. Before the War Altar got into combat, I was using my Trebuchet to try to target that because he wouldn't get, it would be an automatic kill if I could just hit him. And obviously was never able to do it. But since he's in combat, now I've been targeting that house. And on turn 3, I believe, I nicked the house, did D6 wounds. I killed 4 of those handgunners. I was hoping to cause a panic off the board, taking the sorcerer with him, but he passed his panic test. So now my trebuchet is targeting that house every turn and just missing every turn. So anyway, that's what's going on there. On this side of the board, my men-at-arms are kind of out of the action, just trying to move them up towards the cannons, and still using my fast cav to block his inner circle knights. On his turn over here, he rallies his warrior priest, and now the problem I'm having is he's got all those bound spells. He's got this stupid level 2 sorcerer casting Spirit of the Forge every turn, and now he's using the bound prayer that does it works kind of like Cleansing Flare. It basically, all units within a certain distance take a certain number of hits, and that thing's starting to really hurt me. His knights on the left got tired of my fast cav, so they finally declared a charge. I fled, hoping to pull him into the woods, but apparently he ended just shy of the woods. Over here, he takes his small unit of flagellants, turns them towards my men-at-arms, and I'm kind of in trouble here because his cannon is on rough terrain, so I'm not going to be able to make that charge, and now there's really nothing I can do except receive the charge for his flagellants, and that probably will hurt a little bit. So on Empire turn 5, what I meant to show in this picture is on my turn, yes, I killed the Hellblaster, but remember I used to have a unit of Knights Errant at the top of the board. Yeah, they're dead. I don't remember if that was from magic or from shooting or a combination of both, but that unit is now off the board. These guys, you notice I used to have a unit of Knights of the Realm there. That's because his magic, doing that spell where I think the War Altar gets the automatic casting, which does a damage spell in a certain radius, and then his Arc Lector there has a similar spell, and so between the two of them, they just totally destroyed that unit and killed my general. So on my turn, I charged the Pegasus into his warrior priest, and everybody else at this point is just standing there. I got my Grail Knight positioned so that he can hopefully charge that warrior priest on my next turn. And I turn my men-at-arms just so those flagellants don't get the flank on me. So in combat, he takes the last wound off my BSB, which was a bummer. My, let's see, either somebody charged my fast cav or somebody must have charged him, but they ran right through my my archers, caused a panic test of my archers, and they fled off the board. And on my next turn, by the way, the fast cav failed their rally test, and they flee off the board. So things are unwinding in a hurry, in case you weren't picking up on that. Sorry about the bad picture, but this is his flagellants get the charge in my men-at-arms. And I'll talk about the results of that later. So this is his last turn. You can see really just moves his guys up. Everybody else just locked in combat. The Cleansing Flare type spells kill the last of my Knights of the Realm. They also kill my Pegasus Knight, and they also kill my Grail Knight. So he's just magicking and shooting me everything I have left on the table. These guys, I was too lazy to remove my men-at-arms, but they killed 10 of them, something like that, 7 of them at least. I mean, those flagellants with Hatred and Frenzy and Strength 5 on the charge, yeah, that wasn't a pretty picture. On my turn, however, I was able to rally them, so I think I might have got half points on my men-at-arms, for all that's worth. So at the end of the game, I had some men-at-arms. I had my damsel, who'd been hiding out ever since turn 2, and my trebuchet. So ugly loss to Bretonnians. It's actually a real fun game. I just don't like my list. I mean, one damsel is, I got a few extra Knights Errant, and it just wasn't worth it because he killed much more than a few knights because of my utter lack of magic defense. My normal setup would be 4 and sometimes 5 Dispel dice with 3 scrolls, and instead I had 3 Dispel dice with 2 scrolls. And I think if I could have stopped some of that magic, that would have helped tremendously. Spirit of the Forge going off I think it went off turns 1 through 4. It did not go off on turn 5, and turn 6 he had nothing to cast it on. So anyway, but like I said, it was actually a real fun game. I love that Empire list. I look forward to fighting it again. I learned a little bit better tactics on using my lance formation to get charges off on other cavalry that otherwise wouldn't be able to get. But anyway, chalk it up as a major massacre against the Bretonnians. Hope you enjoyed it.